Hi, I'm Rick Tibbetts. Welcome to Unlimit Yourself. I'm glad you're here. In today's episode, we're going to talk about the art of the come-up through self-belief. The come-up, or in other words, the period before you achieve high-level success, is one of the most difficult and grueling experiences for any artist, athlete, or professional. One must have a fierce determination to withstand the slings and arrows, setbacks and disappointments that imperil their steady climb to the top. A perfect example of someone who possesses that determination is my old friend Leo, who fights for his dreams every day by putting out consistently high-quality content. For example, he is the host of a comedy podcast called You're Kiddin Me, which is 2 years and 70 episodes deep. And on September 3rd, he came out with a new 9-track visual album titled Stevie Boi Jr. Needless to say, Leo knows how to hustle through hardship. Here is his story. What's up, Leo? Welcome to Unlimit Yourself. I'm honored to have a true Renaissance man on the show. A rapper, podcaster, sketch artist, video maker, you name it, Leo does that shit. And I'm really glad to talk to you because not only do we have a shared history doing football and theater together back in high school, but also, I've been following your progression, your come up as an artist for a while now, and I've been dying to ask you questions about it, so thank you very much for coming on the show.
Awesome, man. Dude, pleasure. Thanks for having me. What an intro right there. Got to give you props on that. That was sweet. Nailed it.
Well, thank you. I was just trying to cover all the bases. You're a multifaceted guy.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So, dude, pleasure to be on the pod. And, I was pumped when you hit me up to do it. I was like, oh, yeah, I'm in. Love it.
Well, I had to reach out. There's just so much to cover. It's been a while, and there's a lot to catch up on. So let's start with a broad question.
Yeah.
What have you been up to since we graduated high school in 2016?
I have been up to a bundle of things, man. I'm working hard. I'm actually doing carpentry with my father just to, pay the bills. And it's cool to learn that trade because he learned from his father. So that's kind of like his artistic thing that he does.
Yeah.
But where I feel like I kind of, got that in me a little bit from him. But yeah, man, I went to Record and Radio Film Connection for a couple years, and that basically is they're a corporation. They set you up with a mentor. It's all over the U.S. and they set you up with a mentor that's in your area. You go to a studio, you learn all the ins and outs of, the hardware, the software, audio engineering, miking, live, band, drums, Pro Tools, Logic, learning all that. So, yeah, I did that, and I learned a ton. And my mentor, Steve Catazone, shouts out to him. He's worked with, like, Adele, Post Malone, big names.
Wow.
So he's like a wizard, man, in the studio. So, I learned a ton from him, and I'm working. I do DJing part-time. That's more experience just with, audio and DJing and live performance type thing. So I've been doing that, and I've been doing my podcast for the past 2 years. You're Kidding Me. It's me and my cousin Ev. It's a comedy-based podcast, but I actually just ended for a little bit.
I saw. Dude, what a run. 2 years.
Crazy. Yeah.
70 episodes.
2 years, 70 episodes, it's going to come back. I've spread myself too thin. Like you said, multifaceted. I want to do a ton of things, I want to create. I can do a podcast. I like being funny, doing comedy.
Yep.
I'm an artist. I like making music, singing, rapping, videos, music videos, all that. So, drawing, portrait drawings, So, I'm going for this music thing, man. This is my dream. This is my passion. The podcast was great, and it will be back. But if I had a team that could edit, help me produce it, and because I would be doing like 8 to 10 hours a week just doing video editing for it, plus the pod clips on Instagram, pod clips on YouTube. I'm rambling already.
No, all good. So do you edit all that yourself? That's just you?
I do. Yep.
Wow.
I film it. I honestly do. My my iPhone is 4K. It's the 12 Pro, the iPhone 12 Pro. So that, it does the job. I put it on a mount.
That's on your iPhone? I thought you had some like studio quality. Nah, it's just an iPhone.
Dude, you would think, right?
No, iPhone cameras are incredible.
Yeah, man, they are, and it's low budget, and it's like it's not about what you have, it's how you use it, and how much you care about the product that you're making, you know. And it's, dude, like I got it, like kudos to you. Like I've been listening to your podcast episodes; they're inspiring. They make me feel good. They're like meditational, dude. And you have an incredible way of speaking. I got to hand it to you. You are really a very, very, very well spoken person, and yeah, man, I love it. I love to see other people, you know, thriving at the things that they want to do, you know?
Hey, man, well, like, thank you so much. It means a lot. But, you know, you always kind of seeing what you were up to throughout these years, it was inspiring to me. You know, however, my podcast is helping you out now. I mean, looking at what you were up to, and that how you were so unabashedly creative, like throughout these years, just like, I'm going to do this right here. This is my shit. And I'm going to plow forward and I'm going to make this happen. This creative dream, this is my plan A right here. No plan B. This is what it is right here. And so when I saw that, you know, I always had in me this very creative guy. I always wanted to be a content creator. But it always frustrated me so much that in high school and in college, my reputation was more like the political guy, the speech guy, maybe the fitness guy. You know, I wanted to be known for being a content creator, being a creative. And so I was like, you know what? This is my time right now. I'm doing this. I finally have the opportunity.
I love that. I love to see it. And yeah, you always made videos like me, man. I made the Facebook videos. Like you were always a creative kid, and like even your friend group too. Like, you know, I listened to the last pod with John Hughes. Shouts out him. Go listen to that episode after this one.
For real.
But if you haven't yet, but you know, Andrew Noon. Shouts out to him. If you know, if that's cool that I do shout
out to everybody.
He's creative. Yeah, dude. Even like, well, first, do you remember? I saw you in the grocery store, and I had my podcast out, and you were like, yo, like, you know, showing love about me doing my podcast, and you were like, oh, I kind of want to get into it, you know, I got ideas, and I was like, do it, man. Absolutely do it.
I mean, you know, everybody and their mother has been telling me, oh, your voice, oh, you speak like, like, you know.
You have it, man.
So
like, you have that.
I was like, I'm not gonna waste away my 20s, and when I'm in my 30s, and like, who knows what life's gonna be like? I don't even want to think about it.
For real.
But if we're all busy as hell, maybe we got a girlfriend, a wife, kids. We haven't got too much time for all this. So I'm like, I gotta plant my roots right now. I gotta take full advantage of this right now. And hey,
there's no better time.
If this ends up in an L, in a loss, if I end up realizing, oh, maybe I don't want to do it, I'll still be so grateful I did it because I found that out. I found out this wasn't meant for me, but I know I can die happy knowing I tried it. I put my neck out there.
You have to just do it, Rick. It's like that's my big thing too, is like, you're never going to know unless you try, man. And, you know, there's a society and people, you know, even people in your town or even family, and, you know, a lot of people's mindsets, like, dude, love the title of your episode, your podcast, is Unlimit Yourself. And it's like society and, you know, even old school family members, maybe parents, so be it who they think almost in a way, they see the world, you know, the majority, I would say, it's like, it's realism. It's things are, you know, be realistic, man. Like, what are you really going to do? Like,
it's pessimistic, It's very closed-minded. Attitude.
It's closed-minded, and it could even be negative more often.
Definitely.
Like, more than other times. But I don't think like that, and I know that you're a type of guy, especially being a content creative, like you're outside the box enough to, you know, kind of see through that. You know, just basing limits on yourself is if you're already feeling like you're not going to be able to succeed at something, and that, you know, only a certain amount of people who do this thing, you know, they get lucky and they can do it, and I'm not good enough, you know, you'll never do it.
You'll never do it, right?
You'll never do it because you're already putting that out into the universe. You're feeling that within yourself. Your being, your mental, you know, it's all connected, man. It's like,
you ask and you shall receive. And
Exactly.
the only difference between the Diddies and the Drakes and the
Right.
people sitting at home on the couch is that the Diddies and the Drakes, they said to themselves, I can do this and I will do this.
Exactly.
That is the only difference. That
Right.
is the only difference. And of course, there are other variables. You can say money, you can say connections and whatnot. Okay, cool. But at the same time, how many people started from zero and ended up going to 1 million?
Exactly.
By just believing in themselves.
Exactly, and it's crazy because all of the like the guys you just named there, and even more of the greats, all these guys and women, men, whatever, everybody who's ever excelled to a level like that where they've achieved their dreams, they're living this life. When they were in the trenches, when it all first started, they worked at it. They worked on their passion. They loved it, and they fully believed that they were already living out their dreams, man. You know, like they were already there in the present moment, you know, mentally, spiritually, whatever you want to say. They, you know, you have to have that attitude. You have to, that's the driving force behind all these success stories and all these people, is that they already believed that it was reality for them. Like for me,
Right.
when I'm in the studio, when I'm making music, I do my best. I mean, we're all human, and you fall off with the, you know, negative thoughts, but for the most part, with just through meditation and creating, I always, you know, I always say I have this, I am this. You know, there's no will, there's no I'm gonna, that's gonna happen. No, it's already here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm already in this life that I see myself living. Like, you know,
You already have the power in you. It's already there. You
Exactly.
feel that. You wake up feeling that. It's a hunger.
Right.
And it's this special feeling, it's this special sensation that is so crystal clear. Nobody else can hear this ringing inside you, but you hear it clearly. It's this
Exactly.
feeling, this sensation of, I'm meant to be somebody.
For sure.
This is who I'm meant to be.
Right.
And I will not stop until I achieve that goal, until I become that person. And letting it fester will only make you very dissatisfied with yourself and your life. And
Exactly.
ultimately, you'll just grow to disappoint yourself for not
Right.
having went down that harder path.
Right, man.
But,
Yeah.
you know, this is all such incredible wisdom. I love talking about this stuff.
I'm so into that.
But one thing that you mentioned just a moment ago, you talked about how the people around you, maybe your community, even your family, and I
Right.
fully relate to that.
Right.
Even
Most
your
people
family.
would, yeah.
You know, these forces can limit your potential, can make you feel like your dreams are in fact ridiculous. You know, I mentioned in my last episode with John that in high school, I felt kind of intimidated to be outwardly and publicly creative. I was a bit
Right.
fearful of doing anything too unorthodox because I didn't want to be made fun of or get a weird
Judgment.
reputation.
Yep.
So I'd love to know, did you ever feel that fear or pressure to hide your silliness, creativity, and your true self?
Believe me, man. That's something I've dealt with. You know, everybody deals with it, but you know, especially as an artist, I've totally dealt with that. You know, I've dealt with a lot of hatred, man, and just people just, you know, judging and
Yeah.
just not wanting to see you succeed and making fun of it and not understanding it. And you know, it took me some time to get my, you know, even the way that I sing and my pitch and what do I even sound like on a microphone, and who am I as an artist? You know, you got to find yourself, and it took me time even to leading up to this new visual album I just released, Stevie Boi Jr. You know, that
Go cop that, everybody.
Yeah.
Go get that.
Apple Music, Spotify, you know, leogranted.com, it's all there. But no matter what you do, there's tons of kids our age that don't even know what they want to do with their lives. But
Nope, not at all.
if you just explore, man, look into different things. What do you like? What
Be
could you do
weird.
in this area? Be weird.
Be
out
fucking
there.
weird.
Who fucking cares what
Yeah.
anyone has to say or what they think? Like, it just
For real.
doesn't matter.
It really
just
doesn't matter. Like, is there a scoreboard somewhere, like in the heavens
Like,
somewhere? Like,
dude,
oh,
yeah.
yo, he just
Yeah.
made fun of him. He just gets 5 points.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah, right. Literally.
They're honestly just jealous. The people who are hating, they're envious.
And it just goes to show, if somebody's, you know, if someone's hating on somebody, if somebody's making fun of somebody, and there's true intent, if somebody's doing that out of the true intent to make somebody feel bad about themselves, it's cliche, but it just goes to show how they feel about themselves.
That's right.
How you're treating somebody else is just a reflection of how you feel on the inside. And like people will say, and I've heard it before, like, oh no, dude, I'm fine with myself. I'm like it's not even that. Like you just suck and but it's like no, like but low key no, like you're not happy. Like
right.
you're probably a depressed person and you're not feeling good about your own self. So when you see somebody else who's breaking out of their comfort zone and trying to really do something, it's not comfortable.
It intimidates them.
You know, it intimidates them. They don't understand it. They're why, you know. So it's just
because
simple,
they see what you're doing and they so wish they could be you. They can't tell you that, but they I'm sure the people who are being so critical have themselves had these dreams, these aspirations to be something great, to be someone great.
Exactly.
And they just could never muster the courage, the confidence to do that, the bravery, because we've already discussed breaking out of your comfort zone. That is such a difficult thing to do for so many people.
Oh, extremely. It's a crazy ride, man, but if you're not uncomfortable, if you're not putting yourself in those positions, you're just not growing, man. The passion that I have for expressing myself and doing what I love, it just always has outweighed the fear thing. You know, I would be fearful of just, you know, releasing a song and people hearing me sing and, you know, being self-conscious about my music. And, you know, at the end of the day, you don't need anybody else's approval. You know, if you love what you're doing and you know it's great, then it's great. That's all that matters. You don't need anybody else to tell you that what you're doing is right and what you're doing is great. When you know, and it's something that you truly love and are passionate about, and you work hard at it, you're gonna make it happen. And the people that were judging and making fun of you and not understanding, they're gonna see what you do when the time comes, man. And
oh yeah, I mean it's not easy. There are a lot of ups and downs and major challenges. And so actually, speaking of which, what would you say have been your biggest challenges and setbacks that you faced as an up and coming artist?
I would say in the beginning, dealing with judgment was a tough one, man, because I dealt with a lot of hate, but like pretty crazy, man, like like more than I even would have thought, like so that was tough just to deal with that. And I would say patience has been tough. Just staying patient has been a big thing, because you know I worked for a cement company for 2 years, like throwing cement bags, real gritty, dirty, hard work, and yes, good money, but you know, I don't want to do those things anymore. You know, I love doing carpentry with my father. It's great. I'm glad that I'm learning. You know, that's what I'm doing to pay the bills right now. But you know, I want to pay the bills being in the studio and making music and putting out music that is a service to people, that people can enjoy and love, and that's what I want to do. You know, and so it's tough to be patient when you have to really grind it out and do things that you don't want to do to make ends meet, you know? So patience has been a really big thing. Even just being consistent. You know, there's days where I don't feel like getting in the studio. I don't want to, you know, some days I just want to be chilling. I want to hang out with my friends, you know. I want to have a couple beers on the weekend, you know. I want to just be chilling.
Yeah.
You know, there's times I don't want to be in the studio and
just want to kick back.
Yeah, but you can't get complacent, and you can't let that get the best of you. You really have to be consistent. You have to keep creating and doing what you love and tapping into that passion. And it's like, if it's gonna happen for you, man, you gotta keep going. And yeah,
wow.
I mean, those are definitely some of the challenges, man. I mean,
yeah, but hey, I mean, I've talked about this before. The 3 C's of success.
Yes,
confidence,
I loved that.
Consistency, and critical thinking. Yes, sir.
I loved that. I meant to. Dude, when I heard that, I was like, that's so it.
Yeah.
That's so it.
Yep. Yeah. Hey, 3 C's. That's what it is.
C's,
it's
dude.
you got to be confident, even if you don't feel it. Like you got to.
That's a bar. That's a bar, Ricky. I love that. I'm gonna write that down.
Yeah, write
bar.
it down. Absolutely. Yeah.
But keep going. Yeah.
I mean, you got to have the confidence to put yourself out there, to actually stand up and say, this is who I am, this is what I'm going to do, to hell with all the haters.
For sure.
I'm going to live as authentically as I want to and be who I want to be. But not only that, that's not enough. You got to be consistent. You can have all the confidence in the world, but if you're just chilling on the couch eating Lay's, you're not doing too much.
Dude,
so you got to be out there. You got to be hustling.
You do, man.
Period.
You do. You have to do it at the end of the day.
That's right. You just got to do it, and
just go for it.
You know, you got to follow your internal compass, and that's what you do. That's what you do on every episode of You Kiddin' Me?
You're kidding me, dude.
That's what you do on every track. I sense that. It is you're following the direction that your own spirit is taking you to. It's putting you in the direction that you know is right. That is how I operate with every episode of Unlimit Yourself. I don't know if what I'm saying is the best thing to say. I don't know if this is the wisest thing to say, but this just feels right.
Exactly.
It feels right. And that's
exactly. That's it. That is what it is. Feeling is everything, even when it comes to manifesting. You know, you can think, you can visualize, and you can think, oh, you know, I'll have this car. I want this car. You could think just all day. If you don't feel it in your gut, if you don't feel it in your being to the core, if you don't believe it, then it's not going to be real. It's not going to pan out.
No, definitely. I mean, that's in part why it took me a while to get around to creating my own brand and my own content, because I wanted it to feel right. I mean, I remember just last year, I would go on long walks alone for like an hour and 20 minutes, literally just walking and thinking, what do I want to create? What message do I have? What can I do that will be totally in tune with my spirit, with who I am, with what I want to give the world? And it took a while to get to the conclusion that Unlimit Yourself was that. I mean, I was thinking everybody and their mother is like, talk about politics, talk about speeches, talk about fitness. I'm like, ugh, I mean, cool. Every radio station, every TV channel talks about politics. And I also don't want to be known as that crazy political guy who just, you know, shits on Republicans or whatever. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm a pretty moderate dude. So
and you know that about yourself.
Yeah.
You know? That's huge.
So I didn't want to be that dude. Just like, I love following politics. I love that, but I don't want to be that dude like the Sean Hannitys and the Rachel Maddows. I'm not that guy. I want to give something positive to the world.
100%.
And I want to make people feel uplifted and try to cast aside those barriers that they put on themselves and that others put on them.
Yeah, and you're doing a great job at it so far, man. Great start. Like, it's just for how early it is for you, even starting this up and getting into it, like, even for me, I was like, wow, he's really got this thing down. Like, he sounds awesome. It even, you know, just, you have it very well structured, and it's real professional, and but I can tell that it's natural for you. Like this, you know, I listen to all your podcasts, man, and I'm a subscriber, awesome. And it's like, yeah, of course. And it's like, you can tell when something is real and something is authentic, and then you can tell when something's forced. And like, your episodes and what you talk about and how well spoken you are and knowledgeable and everything like that, it pulls me in. You know, it's a natural pull, and it's because you're in your natural state and you're doing what feels right for you and what you love with this podcast, and that translates to the listeners, because, you know, that value is there, and that's the thing that pulls you in, you know.
Yeah.
So you're not pretending to this is real, Ricky. This is natural, and it shows, because, you know, it's just you can see through things if they're not fully real or anything like that. But yeah, man, kudos to you. I love it.
Yeah, no, thank you very much. Really, I wanted to speak from my heart. That's what all this was. I wanted to speak from my heart.
Absolutely.
And when I started, man, I was scared. You know, I had a fear. When I went into my first episode, that same feeling that we had in high school, trying to avoid people, you know, not so that people wouldn't see us, so that we wouldn't be judged for doing something that seemed outlandish to other people. I had this this anxiety. I almost didn't do it. I was like, what do people want to hear from me for anyway? Like, what do I have to say?
from one podcaster to the next, man. I went through all of that before doing my podcast, and that's after I've been making music, releasing music. Like, I don't give a fuck what anybody thinks about me. I love this passion. Like, starting my own podcast, it was the same thing. Like, who's gonna give a shit what I'm saying? I'm not even established yet as like an artist or. Yeah, it's tough, man. You got to work through the self-doubt. It's human. It's human to feel like that, and yeah, a lot of fear comes with it.
Yeah, I mean, my very central message on this podcast is overcoming self-doubt and the fear of judgment. And here I am before I even start dealing with these feelings.
Yep.
Jesus.
Everybody does.
And
anybody who does stuff, yep, they deal with it.
I know that you did. I actually went and watched your first episode, and so funny how you framed it.
Yeah.
When people would hear that you were creating your own podcast, you would get two different kinds of feedback.
Yes,
you kidding
Ricky,
me? What? Yeah. Why would you do that? And then, you kidding me? That's awesome. So when I
you're kidding me, dude? No way, that's awesome. Or you're kidding me? What
are you doing? So I thought, like,
as a podcast,
that is something that we have in common with both our shows, because mine is Unlimit Yourself, from that exact feeling, from those naysayers and all that negativity. And your title, you kidding me? I was astounded to know that it had that root. I was like, oh, that's incredible.
You know, that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, people are gonna go, you're kidding me? What the hell? These kids doing a podcast? What a loser! Or they're gonna, or like, why do I give a shit about that? Or they're gonna go, you're kidding me, dude? No way, you're doing a pod? That's awesome. You know, there's two types of respondents. So it's crazy, man, because like. Before I decided to start my podcast, I just wrote ideas down, you know, little skits, little phrases. I wrote things down for a year. For 1 year, I did that. I just stocked up on notes, topics, you know, skits, anything that I thought was funny, phrases. I wrote it down. My list of notes is insanely long. I built it up over that year.
Wow.
So then when I started the podcast, I had a year's worth of notes and ideas that I would just, you know, pick out some notes that I thought, oh, that'd be, you know, I'll do these ones for this episode, and then down the line, I would just be out living real life, and I go, oh, I gotta write that down and talk about that on the podcast.
Well, you know, one of the things I really appreciate about you is how dedicated you are to what you do. I mean, you know, you really invest in your talents. You put in the work to reach your goals. Your personal podcast and music studios are just two examples of that investment. But you've also built a dedicated team of individuals to support your creative progression. So with that said, I really want to know, when did you decide to make your dreams plan A and go all in as a performer?
So sophomore year of high school, right? It was me, my buddy Dario, and my buddy Sean. Dario Aparo, Sean Budrick, quick shout out. We were real close, and we were always very philosophical thinkers. Spirituality, you know, we've been all about manifesting, and we were looking into all these things, you know, books. We watched The Secret on Netflix, Law of Attraction, you know. My buddy wanted to make beats. I always low-key sang. My buddy Sean, he was the first person that I ever sang to when we were younger, and he was like, you're kind of good. And we kind of formed this thing where we were like, we can do this thing. Like, if, you know, me being like vocals and rapping, and my buddy Sean producing, and then my buddy Dario being kind of like marketing business side, but he also would like mess around musically with us, you know, when we were all hanging out. And guys like Tyler, the Creator, he released Yonkers, his video, which was like, he eats a cockroach in it. It's a crazy wild video, you know. I got to give it to him and his whole movement, Odd Future, you know, him, Frank Ocean, like all everybody in his team, like, he really showed me like, wow, you can do that. You can be a music artist, and you can make your own songs, you can make your own videos, you can gain a following, like, you can really say and do whatever you want. Who cares? Because he would just say and do whatever. And other inspirations like that too. I was like, wow, you can really make this a career. And I was like, I just was like, I can do that. I can absolutely do that. Yeah, I decided, you know, I would say it was sophomore year. I went, you know what, I'm going to, actually, Ricky, now that you just said that, in my notes, so you have your notes on your iPhone, and in my notes, I wrote my first note on my first iPhone ever, and I have it pulled up right here.
Oh, my.
October 30th, 2014, at 8:26 a.m., I wrote, the start of your universal creation. And I've been writing songs, ideas, everything and anything and everything that goes along with my creative and what I do. I've been writing in my notes and lyrics and songs and since 2014. I still do it. And I would say sophomore year, man, I really was like, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to work hard and I know I can do it. And I'm going to, speak it into existence, believe it, feel it, and I already have it. I already am it. So that's how I'll attract it. So, yeah.
Wow, no, that's amazing, you know, to have done that, to have written that note back then, to have had that foresight,
right,
to know that this is going to happen, this is my path, and it starts right now.
It's that internal knowing, you know what I mean? It's that feeling when you just know, you're like, this is me, this is what I'm meant for, and I really feel this, and it's just when you know, and you'll have it.
Well, that reminds me of a recent Instagram post that you put up on August 19th. You said something just like that. You said about your new album. You said, Stevie Boi Jr. is a journey into my soul. And I feel I really have found my sound and who I am as an artist with this entire project. Yeah. So now that caption begs the question. How would you describe this most authentic version of Leo and your sound, and how were they different before?
So I made... back in 2017, I made a project with my buddy called Before You Know It, and that was kind of spiritually conscious, rappy and singy, and that's our first time ever mixing, and we made, it's 8 songs. We made it when we went to Keene State in New Hampshire for a semester, and then we ended up leaving because they didn't have what we wanted to do, but we were in the dorm room, we made that whole project, and, I can't even listen to my old stuff kind of now because I kind of I cringe a little bit because, as much as the potential is there and it sounds good, you still, you're not fully there yet. And then I've had singles in between, and I did another little mini EP project with him too. After that, Sorry I'm Sleeping. All that's available on SoundCloud and YouTube. I don't have it on streaming or anything like that because it was the early stuff. And then I did Young Manifesto. That was I remember that. I kind of have, so Silly Putty was the album there. It was 12 songs. It's kind of like that was portraying a character of more of my ego, rappy, trappy side. You know what I mean? It was me trying to go for a different sound, a little bit trying to kind of, I don't want to say cater to the new sound and what kids kind of like these days with the boomy 808s and the trap beats and the trap artists there. But I do like some of that music too. So I was like, what could I do if I did something like that? And it's kind of braggadocious, kind of like, I don't give a shit what like you think, like I'm killing whatever, I'm doing my thing. And that was Young Manifesto. That was my little character I did there on that project. And it wasn't me to the core. It wasn't me to the soul. I grew making that project. I love it for what it is, but there was something missing. I still didn't fully know myself. So after that, I released that, and I was gonna do shows for that. I had all these plans. I had this external hard drive with the whole album on it, all the sessions that I made the songs in, everything I had for that.
Wow.
The drive broke.
Oh.
And I lost it all. I even sent it out to get it repaired for like $2,000, and
Jesus.
They couldn't fix it. I got my money back. So it just was like Silly Putty, Young Manifesto, that is gone. And now, and I was like, I didn't have any of the music to make live tracks out of. And I just was like, it's almost like the universe was like, yo, this isn't it yet. It just was a feeling in me, time went by, and after that project and me losing everything, I was like, you know what? It's back to square one. I'm going to, I'm going to take a summer off. I'm just going to work on music and work on everything else I'm doing and really try to zone in. And I made Stevie Boi Jr. and it was me really opening up to that authentic side of myself, kind of who I am as a person, singing more than rapping. I barely rap on this thing. I really sing because like singing is my favorite thing to do,
Yeah, you're good at it.
And thank you. And I've heard from a ton of people like, you should sing more, and I was like, I know, and I probably should. And I've always loved R&B. As much as I love hip-hop and rap, I've always loved R&B and soul. And I was like, that's what feels right for me. This is what I'm going to do. And I kind of dove into that sound on this Stevie Boi Jr. project. And, because my artist name is Leo. My middle name is Leon, and I shorted it to Leo. And
it's a sick middle name. What the?
Yeah, Leon, right? I know. I almost
Edward.
Used...
What the?
Yeah,
you gotta let me borrow that.
Yeah, you take it. But it was my grandfather's name. Yeah, so I was like, oh, I'm gonna not do Leon. I'm just gonna do Leo. And Stevie Boi Jr. Here we are. It's a new character. It's another side of myself. So it's like Young Manifesto on Silly Putty. That project was like kind of my ego. And now the Stevie Boi Jr. side of myself is like my raw, real soul, singing. And it's been a ride. I made the Stevie Boi Jr. music for a year, just about a year it took me to make that music. And then
I was going to ask you, you decided to go down the Beyonce route and produce a visual album.
Yeah,
so
dude.
Why did you choose to go that route, and how did the whole project come together?
I've only had like 3-4 music videos out at the time, and this whole Stevie Boi Jr. thing, I originally was like, I'm gonna make a cartoon character of myself. That's what I want to do. That's who Stevie Boi Jr. is. This is a cartoon animation concept character of me, and my dad will call me Stevie Boy. Even my uncle, I've heard it before. And I'm not a junior to my father. My father's Stephen Benugli, and I'm Stephen Benugli, but we have different middle names. So I'm not a junior, but I was like, you know what? I kind of like the way Stevie Boi Jr. sounds. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of did that as a little play off of that. But I was like, after I made all the music, I was like, towards the end of making the music, I was like, my song Canyon Call, I was like, you know what? It would be sweet to go to the canyons, maybe even go to the Grand Canyon and shoot a video there for it.
Yeah, I saw you there. I was like, this guy.
So it wasn't
dedicated.
The Grand Canyon. Yeah, it wasn't the Grand Canyon. It was Moonshine Wash Canyon in Utah, 4 hours from Salt Lake City. But that Canyon Call video, I was like, oh, I want to film that in a canyon. And then after that, I kind of was like, what if I made this a visual album? I want to make cartoon animation. Searched all over Instagram for cartoonists and animators, and I found one girl, Sophie Faher, shout out to her, and she killed it, man. She was down to do it. I hit her up, and I just started planning for this thing. Huge debt of gratitude to my sister Marie. She helped me co-direct it. She made a full slideshow of all the music videos, and me and her just brainstormed on every video and all the ideas for the video, and we'd put them on the slideshow. She would structure everything. She's really good at that.
Wow, real family affair.
Yeah, and huge shout out to Jack McMullen too. He filmed the whole thing, edited it with me, hours and hours of filming and editing and going back and forth and dropping off the computer at his house and him returning it and like the hard drives and but like it has been a crazy ride. And that visual album took another year. Wow. So it was a fully 2-year thing. And I just was like, I don't have enough visual content. I have 3 to 4 music videos right here. I'm like, you know what? If I make 9 music videos along with 9 songs of my best work, that can be something very valuable for me to benefit off of content-wise. And now it's out, and I'm looking into the marketing aspects and really getting it out there. So it's visual, and I'm trying to do this thing, Tim. I'm kind of done downplaying it. People ask me.
I'd say so. You created an entire visual album. I think you're done downplaying it.
Yeah, like what do you?
So I think he's keeping it on the low with that visual album.
Yeah, right.
He's just staying quiet in the corner of it.
He just literally made a 2-year project, visual album. He's
in a tub with a cigar,
Yeah, right, legit. So, yeah, I wonder if he actually wants to do this for career.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's pretty clear that you're fully invested at this point. All you have to do is look at the care and attention paid to every music video on this album to get that message. And speaking of Jack's work, I really enjoyed the videography on the lead single Wishy Washy, how you paid homage to Gene Kelly's Singin' in the Rain, That was like my favorite scene. That was my favorite scene, dude.
I love that you caught on to that because I mean, you know, we did theater when we were in high school, and that was awesome. And that was a crazy huge experience for me, man. Talk about breaking out my comfort zone for sure. But back to the Gene Kelly thing, I have to shout out my sister, man. That was her idea. Like she thought it because we were like, all right, wishy-washy. That's the title. We want like sudsy, soapy, like water. Like so, we did the car wash scene.
Yep.
We did the tub scene. And then we did the singing in the rain thing, and we did the dishwasher scene. So that was the whole
Loved
theme.
it.
And kids, you know, not every. I mean, especially kids today, but even kids our age, like. They aren't fully aware maybe of
they don't know
Singing
Gene
in
Kelly.
the Rain. Gene
I have
Kelly.
no idea. Singing in the Rain, bro. I listen to that in my free time. I love that song.
Yeah, that's like sentimental to my family too, like my aunts and uncles and my grandfather, and you know. Yeah. So it's it was cool to do that for sure.
Well, you know, that wasn't the only time where I noticed you paying homage. Tell me if this is right, but on Morning Routine, when you're rapping.
As you can see, the real ones packing the heat, trying to hit you in your feels while you bagging your seat.
Oh, nice, right? Nice.
You seem to be paying homage in that in those scenes to the Mo Money Mo Problems music video with the fisheye lens. Am I right? You were doing like a fisheye lens.
You are fantastic, man.
Yeah, man. I do my research, bro.
Yep. Even like Diddy videos with the fisheye, Missy Elliott. You know, it was like a very '90s theme. I'm like, that would be sweet to do that, but
Yeah,
dude.
Was that intentional to mimic the Mo Money Mo Problems video?
Yeah, that was definitely one of the videos I like from that era as a whole. I've seen plenty of videos where they use the fisheye lens type of thing that I kind of was like, damn, I that's what I'm going for. That's what I want to do.
Right. Well, you know, I could sit here and point out the myriad artistic references laden throughout this album, but I want to make sure I get this question in before we end our discussion. So, in conclusion, what advice do you have for fellow artists on the come-up?
Advice I would say is do it yourself. You know, I've worked with people, a lot of great people, but don't sit back and rely on somebody else to, you know, to create your vision, you know, for you. It's one of the reasons I don't have somebody else who edits the podcast, because I know if I don't do it myself fully to the T, it's not going to come out how I envisioned it and how I want it, and especially for being a creator and an artist. Also, you need to invest in yourself. As an artist, you need to have, you know, you don't need to have the greatest equipment in the world. You don't need top-of-the-line studios, but you need the basic equipment, and you need to fund your dream and your career. So I would say, you know, work doing something that you can make some money, and you can invest it into your craft, and just put in the hours of work and just be patient. Lose yourself in the present moment in what you're doing, and don't think too much. Basically, just stay in your head. You're dead. You know, it's like, don't overthink it. Do more. Think less and do more. Like, it's just, if it feels right, act on that. It all pays off. Just follow your heart, man.
Well, you're definitely a fantastic example for other up-and-comers to follow. The amount of work you've put in, the passion that you exude, and all of the lives that you've touched already are a testament to what you inevitably will do and who you inevitably will be. So,
appreciate that, man. Yeah.
Everybody, please go and check out Leo's hilarious podcast, You Kiddin Me? On all streaming platforms. Go watch his most recent musical masterpiece, Stevie Boi Jr., a visual album, on YouTube. Do not forget also to mosey on over to his website, leogranted.com, for all things Leo. I'm so glad that we could make this work. Your story will undoubtedly inspire other creative juggernauts to get up off the couch and make their dream a reality. So thank you so much for coming on the show, and we'll talk very soon.
It's been an honor, Ricky. I appreciate you for having me, dude. It's been awesome. So thanks so much. And hey, till the next one, maybe, right?
Absolutely.
Awesome, man. Thanks.
That does it for this episode on the art of the come up through self-belief. Today, we talked about my and Leo's shared history as hesitant creatives who eventually broke free from the fears and negativity that held us back. We also had a lengthy and empowering discussion on how to block out toxic criticism and self-doubt while remaining true to who you are. These ideas may seem cliché, but in reality, they are all that divide those at the top from those who want to get there. As always, thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time.